WDLC country for Orange County and the tri-state area. And we are back with our Port Pride 5. And I want to welcome to the show this morning, John Wright, who is one of our social studies teachers and wait, let me back up. How many social studies teachers are there in high school, John?
Oh, God, great question. You put me on the spot here. I'm just trying to remember all of them off the top. We usually only have about 6.
Oh.
But we do have Ryan Shupp, who he floats back and forth between the middle school and the high school.
Okay.
So he's doing double duty.
Wow, that's a lot of social studies teachers. That's fascinating to me because...
Believe it or not, that's actually a small number compared to most districts.
Serious. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. So you teach social studies at the Port Jervis High School and also our track coach as well. So welcome. Thanks for joining me. Sorry I put you on the spot.
Thank you for having me.
Right away. Yes. So here we are. We're almost a month away until graduation. And I know, we can look back, look ahead. So let's look at what's going on, I guess, right now with the district, with social studies. What type of social studies? Because there are different types, right?
I teach the 9th grade global history and geography course, but I also teach an elective course called World of Warfare.
World of Warfare. So explain.
So when it comes to the global history course, we tend to focus on the ancient history side of things, ancient up into the medieval time frame. It ends roughly around 1700 AD. So we cover somewhere around 7,000 years worth of history. And we do it all in roughly about 180 days.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So we focus on getting the main concepts, how one time frame can affect another. We also look at trying to attach, like from other courses, the term we usually use is like interdisciplinary, where we try to reinforce with English classes. They tend to look at writing, your style, those types of things, how you write an essay, how you do a paper. So we try to mimic some of those things in our class with the essays, the DBQs, and those types of things. With the warfare class, warfare class was something that I was asked to create, came up with on my own. I talked to a number of different people. I talked to a gentleman, colonel up at West Point, talked to him about how he went about teaching some of these different topics. The course is basically about where does warfare begin? And then how far back does that stretch? And then we take a look at how it changes over time. Based on the introduction of new weapons, how do those weapons change strategy and tactics and things like that over the course of history? One of the projects that I have the kids do is recreate a weapon from any of the ancient, like if we're talking about Paleolithic, Neolithic, medieval time frame, that sort of stuff. It's really funny because some of the kids go crazy with it. What we'll do is it's sort of like social studies meets Forged in Fire. We actually test weapons out on the field. And I'll bring in, if the kids make bows and arrows, was it 2 years ago, I had a young man created a crossbow, but they had to use materials that would have been available to the people during that time frame. So this way you get kind of like a greater appreciation of how hard it was for people to do the things that they did and survive. So we had another young man, he did a Kanobo this year. And
what's a Kanobo?
It's a big club, and it was created back in medieval Japan, and it was used to break swords, that type of thing. And this kid went all out. It was absolutely gorgeous, and it smashed through. I had a kid make a shield a few years ago. We wanted to test it out and see how good the shield was, and he bashed through that thing like it was nothing. It splintered. So then, in addition to that, they'll do projects. We do like a Medal of Honor where they have to go through, investigate the origins of the Medal of Honor, how many times it's been given out, those types of things, and then they'll have to choose one person. And then they'll have to do a presentation about that person and what it was that they did in order to win it. That's kind of like the social studies side of things.
I got you. It's not about sitting behind a desk anymore. I mean, I feel like that's such a thing of the past. I mean, I know they do. I know there's a classroom style setting, but very hands-on. So what inspired you to be a social studies teacher?
I've always loved the idea of where did things begin? How did we get to where we are? And I like being able to go through and do like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I've always been curious about the origins of everybody, people. It doesn't matter what group you're talking about. It's always been something that's fascinating to me, how a group developed their culture, how was it influenced by their location, their environment, that sort of stuff. And then how does that change given new technology and those types of things. I've always loved that kind of stuff.
Oh, look at you. And that's what they always say. Do what you love for your work. And that makes work so
You'll
much.
never work a day in your life.
Exactly. Exactly. So before I let you go, in addition to social studies, you are the track coach for Port Jervis. Is it varsity, JV?
Varsity. Over the last 14 years, we've had 2 years where we had the year with COVID. Everything was canceled outdoor. We had that in about roughly 12 years worth of time. We have 123 wins, 52 losses. Our boys have won 2 division titles. Our girls have won 2 division titles. We won a section title this year indoor, and that was 68 years in the making. The last title that they had won was back in 1956. Won 243 medals in OCI-AA and Section 9 competitions. We've had 73 OCI-AA and Section 9 individual event champions. 50 kids qualify for the state championships. We've won 14 medals at the state championships. I've had 13 athletes, and I can actually correct that number up to 15. We've had 15 athletes qualify for nationals. I've had 1 state champion, which was Troy Zanger in the pentathlon. I have 1 girl who was a 2-time junior Olympic champion. That was Kayla Quarshie. I've had other kids who have gone on to Division II and Division III schools. One example I would use is Kobe Lane. Him and Lucas Riley, they were up at Delhi, and when they went up there, they wound up winning the Division III cross-country championship. Kobe was number 1 in the country, and then Lucas was part of that team, and then as a group, they were able to win the title. The other thing I would mention is we've also had 8 kids that went on to Division I schools and were either partially or fully scholarshiped at those universities. Wow. The most recent of which, I think you've done a show with him, Constentino Proscia.
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah, he's going to Fordham University.
Okay.
They offered him a lot of money, and that was his dream school all along. That's all he ever talked about, so I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
The work that he did on the track and in the classroom, because you can't have one without the other. You got to have both.
And you see it from both ends. You're in the classroom, you're on the field with them. That's a big gig you have there, but we appreciate you, and I know they do. Well, John, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you today and getting to know you and learning about social studies and teaching and what's being offered to our students and, of course, the successes of the Port Jervis High School track and field team. Thank you, and have a great summer.
Thank you. You too,
Michelle. All right, friend. We'll talk after you get back. Okay, bye-bye. And there he goes. Busy man. There he is. That's John Wright. He's our social studies teacher, track coach, Port Jervis High School. Our Port Pride 5 wrapping up. A WDLC Country.